Got with us today Martyn James, who's from the it's the online kind of complaints organisation, isn't it, called Resolver, and we've got one for you to resolve now from a lady called Mira in London, who says that she's been buying things online from a company called ASOS for quite some time. Earlier this year they told her that she's been blocked. She can't buy anything from them anymore because she keeps sending too many things back. We all do that, don't we?
Well, we certainly do, Angela, and with the death of the high street, which has been much reported, we're all online shopping now for all kinds of goods and services. But I don't think this kind of approach is really very fair at all, because how on earth are we supposed to know if items fit?
Yeah.
I mean, every time I order something in my size, it's either too tight or too big, so you do need to order a selection of things. Now, we're going to see more and more people being barred as a result of just simply ordering clothes just to see if they fit.
Yes, I mean, we got in touch with them, and because there's also a complication. She's got, what, £19.80 credit as well. She wants to get that back, doesn't she?
Well, it's a little bit cheeky, isn't it, if you get barred, because but you've still got money kind of in the bank. Now, we've been in touch with ASOS, and they said that with a small minority of their customers who've exploited or taken advantage of the returns policy, they've had to implement this to reduce their costs. But the good news is, if Mira gets in touch after we've spoken to them, they're going to refund that credit for her.
So that's at least a bit of a resolved problem from Resolver. Thank you very much indeed, Martyn. Thanks. So let's go back to the girls on the sofa.
And incidentally, that company ASOS they were just talking about has just announced a 2/3 drop in profits, and maybe that's why they're tightening up on returns. Now, brace yourselves. We're about to feature one of your perennial bugbears, broadband connections.
Yes, indeed, it's a topic you get in touch with us about all the time. But if you're one of the millions of people who really struggle to get decent speeds, it seems, fingers crossed, things might be about to change.
These days, broadband has become pretty much the fourth utility. So not having a reliable internet connection can be a massive inconvenience on people's lives, especially for anyone who lives in a more rural part of the country. Last year, we featured cases of several people who told us that they were unhappy at having to fork out for a truly terrible internet service.
More and more we were finding things like school children having difficulty doing their homework, or businesses finding difficulty carrying on business to the same degree because more and more it's done online.
We even signed up to 2 internet providers so that we could actually switch between the 2. So it was incredibly disruptive and, yeah, inefficient.
Well, there's potentially good news at last. Last month, the government announced £5 billion worth of new funding to bring gigabit broadband to the hardest to reach places in the UK. Gigabit broadband is 30 times faster than superfast broadband, and it'll be the equivalent of downloading a high-definition film in less than 45 seconds. Of course, there are many urban parts of the country that are also prone to a slower service, not least the 9 million people in the UK living in tower blocks, where landlords control building access to internet providers. Well, there's good news here too. The government is set to introduce a new law that it says will make sure that people living in places like this also don't get left behind. The law will make it easier to install faster internet connection in blocks of flats, where landlords repeatedly ignore requests for access. It's estimated that an extra 3,000 residential buildings a year will be connected as a result.
I don't know where the time goes to in this programme, but we're almost out of it. But very quickly, let's fire some questions at our experts, questions from our viewers this morning. Now, this one's for Martyn, first of all. Simon's daughter is renting a flat with friends, and they've been told that they can only have prepay electricity, as they don't have a full credit history. Now, they feel that they're trapped on a very expensive tariff. Is that fair, or is there anything they can do about it?
Well, no, it's not fair at all, and you've been penalised just because you've got no credit history is really quite terrible. The thing to do is to go and focus on the landlord. The landlord can agree, because it's their property, to have a different kind of meter, and that should get around the credit issue.
I've got one for Gary here. Gary says her mum paid into a pension for 19 years. She's now 76. She was told she should have contacted the provider within 7 years of retiring, and now it's too late to claim. Could that possibly be right?
That sounds like nonsense to me, Angela.
Yeah.
Pensions, like other really important financial products, are very heavily regulated. If it's a private pension, the person that pays into it owns it. If it's an occupational pension, the trustees have a legal duty to pay that to the right person at the right time. The pension provider should keep in touch with you. They should send you annual statements. So questions need to be asked about why she wasn't kept in touch with. she should raise a complaint, and ultimately, if she's not happy, there's the Financial Services Ombudsman for private pensions, and there's the Pension Ombudsman for occupational pensions.
Yeah,
Stick
we've
with it.
had loads
Exactly.
of emails flooding in on our inbox, and the thing that you really are up in arms about is recycling. Pete, Catherine and Linda have all emailed to say, why can't all authorities have the same coloured bins? It's so confusing. Pauline says, don't get me started on recycling. She says where she lives, no plastics are recycled at all. But Ros says her last council used to have 7 recycling bins, but now they've only got 1, and that's brilliant. Well, I think that more or less wraps the subject up for today. We'll be back here at 9:15. Hope to see you then. But for now, from all of us, goodbye.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
They said in unison.